Mental strength isn't what you think it is. It's not gritting your teeth. It's not pretending you don't feel pain. Real mental strength is quieter than that, and far more powerful. We've been sold a broken definition of strength. Clench your jaw. Suppress the tears. Push through no matter what it costs you. That's not strength. That's suppression wearing a costume. And suppression always sends the bill later, usually in the form of burnout, outbursts, or a slow collapse when nobody's watching. The Stoics understood something we've forgotten. Real strength isn't about feeling nothing. It's about choosing your response to what you feel. Marcus Aurelius, the most powerful man in the world at the time, wasn't strong because he never felt fear, grief, or doubt. He was strong because he refused to let those feelings drive the car. And here's the thing that most people miss about this. Mental strength isn't a personality type. It isn't something you're either born with or you're not. Psychological research demonstrates that the resources and skills associated with greater resilience can be cultivated and practiced. Read that again because it matters. Resilience is not a fixed trait you either have or don't. It is a set of learnable skills that allow you to adapt, recover, and grow after hardship. The myth that some people are just naturally mentally tough, that they came out of the womb unbothered and unshakable, is one of the most damaging stories we tell ourselves, because it lets us off the hook. It says, "This isn't for me," and that story is simply not true. Resilient people are not people who don't feel pain, fear, or grief. They feel all of those things. What distinguishes them is that they have flexible strategies for managing difficult emotions, are willing to seek help when needed, can hold on to a sense of meaning or purpose even during hard times, and generally recover their equilibrium more quickly after being knocked off balance. That's the real picture. Not a superhuman without feelings, a trained human who knows what to do with theirs. Now, let's go back about 2,000 years to understand where this training actually begins. Meditations is perhaps the only document of its kind ever made. It is the private thoughts of the world's most powerful man giving advice to himself on how to make good on the responsibilities and obligations of his position. Marcus Aurelius was emperor of Rome. He commanded armies, governed millions, and presided over a period of plague and war that would have broken most people. And yet, trained in Stoic philosophy, Marcus Aurelius stopped almost every night to practice a series of spiritual exercises, reminders designed to make him humble, patient, empathetic, generous, and strong in the face of whatever he was dealing with. Meditations originally had no title and was written by Marcus Aurelius for his own benefit, not for an audience. He wasn't performing strength for anyone. He was building it quietly, in private, one journal entry at a time. He wrote about his frustrations with difficult people, his fear of mortality, his doubts about his own discipline, and then he wrote his way back to clarity. He'd remind himself each morning, and we know this because it's right there in the text. When you wake up in the morning, tell yourself, "The people I deal with today will be meddling, ungrateful, arrogant, dishonest, jealous, and surly. They are like this because they can't tell good from evil. But I have seen the beauty of good and the ugliness of evil, and have recognized that the wrongdoer has a nature related to my own." That's not toughness, that's preparation. He wasn't surprised by difficulty because he'd already rehearsed it. He'd already decided how he would respond before the situation ever arose. Real mental strength is built the same way steel is built, not by removing pressure, but by learning to hold your shape under it. And the daily practice is where that shape gets formed. So how do you actually build this? Let's get specific, because inspiration without instruction is just entertainment. The first thing you have to do is stop confusing numbness with control. A lot of people think they're being mentally strong when they shut their emotions off. They don't cry, they don't complain. They just push forward. But that's not strength, that's disconnection. Resilience is the psychological quality that allows some people to be knocked down by the adversities of life and come back at least as strong as before. Rather than letting difficulties, traumatic events, or failure overcome them and drain their resolve, highly resilient people find a way to change course, emotionally heal, and continue moving toward their goals. Notice what that says. They feel the hit, they heal, then they move. Feeling is part of the process, not the enemy of it. The goal is to feel the wave fully and still choose not to let it choose your actions. The second habit, and this is the one that changes everything, is to build a pause. You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength. That's Marcus Aurelius, and it points to the most trainable mental skill available to any of us: the gap between stimulus and response. When something triggers you, a sharp email, a cutting comment, a plan falling apart, there is a split second before you react. That split second is where your character actually lives. The outburst isn't you at your strongest. The suppression isn't you at your strongest. The pause, the breath, the count to 5, the deliberate choice about what happens next, that's you at your strongest. And the good news is that pause is a muscle. The more you use it, the stronger it gets. The third habit is to practice on small things. This is where most people go wrong. They think mental strength is something you summon when the stakes are catastrophic, when someone dies, when everything collapses, when the worst possible thing happens. But that's not when you build it. Many factors that determine resilience, such as genetics, early life experiences, and luck, can't be modified. But specific resilience-building skills can be learned. These include breaking out of negative thought cycles, pushing back against catastrophizing, and looking for upsides when faced with setbacks. And those skills are forged in the small moments, not the massive ones. The traffic jam, the slow internet, the meeting that runs long, the minor inconvenience that, on a bad day, feels enormous. Those are your training reps. Every time you pause instead of snap, every time you reframe instead of catastrophize, you are building the exact capacity you'll need when the real storms arrive. Research from positive psychology and developmental science consistently shows that resilience can be built at any age, including in adulthood, through deliberate practice. Not through talent, not through luck, through practice. Repeated, boring, daily practice on the small stuff. The fourth habit is journaling, and before you skip past this, understand what Marcus Aurelius used it for. He didn't journal to record his day. He journaled to cross-examine himself. Writing down Stoic exercises was, and is also a form of practicing them, just as repeating a prayer or hymn might be. When you write about a moment that rattled you, what triggered it, how you responded, what you would do differently, you're not just processing, you're rehearsing. You're installing a new pattern into your nervous system, so that next time, the pause comes a little more naturally. 10 minutes at the end of the day. That's the whole practice. Here's the deeper shift that ties all of this together. Stop asking, how do I stop feeling this? And start asking, what is the most useful way to respond to this? That single reframe changes everything. If you are distressed by anything external, the pain is not due to the thing itself, but to your estimate of it. And this, you have the power to revoke at any moment. Marcus Aurelius wrote that nearly 2,000 years ago, and modern psychology keeps arriving at the same conclusion. Pain becomes information instead of an enemy. Fear becomes a signal to prepare, not a command to freeze. Anger becomes energy you can direct, not an explosion you can't control. Psychologists have identified some of the factors that appear to make a person more resilient, such as a positive attitude, optimism, the ability to regulate emotions, and the ability to see failure as a form of helpful feedback. These are not personality traits you're born with. They are orientations you practice until they become instinct. This is what separates a mentally strong person from someone who's just good at hiding. The strong person still feels it all. They've just built the discipline to choose what happens next. And that discipline compounds. Every time you pause instead of react, the next pause gets a little easier. Every time you reframe instead of spiral, the next reframe comes faster. Every time you sit with discomfort instead of running from it, your threshold widens. You are not born with this. You are built with it, one choice at a time. So, here is your routine. Start tonight. 3 things. 1. When something small tries to hijack your reaction today, count to 5 before you respond. Just 5 seconds. That's the pause. 2. At the end of the day, write 3 sentences: what rattled you, how you responded, and what you do differently. That's the journal. 3. When you feel something difficult, ask yourself, what is the most useful response to this? Not, how do I make it stop? What is the most useful response? That's the reframe. Pause, journal, reframe, 3 habits, 10 minutes a day. That's the whole architecture. Mental strength was never about becoming unfeeling. It's about becoming unshaken. You feel the storm, you just don't let it steer. Strength isn't about avoiding difficulties, it's about developing the mental discipline to face whatever comes with courage, wisdom, and grace. And that discipline starts now, not when things get easier, not when you feel ready, not when life gives you a calmer season to practice in. It starts the next time something small tries to pull you off course. That moment, that tiny, ordinary moment, is your first rep. What's one small thing you can practice pausing on today? Drop it in the comments below, because naming it is the first step to owning it, and you've already done the hardest part just by watching this far.